So once again, everyone, my name is Antoine Powell, and today's Blab is going to focus on the effective benefits of sharing. I have my co-host Keith Keller with me today, and we're going to just continue to offer ways on how effective networking is very essential for marketing and just gaining great interest from your audience and learning how to build a social bond. And if you want to continue to have a social bond, continue to tune in to Reach Out, the basic element for entrepreneurs. So at this moment, Keith, what I have to offer is one of the things that I created most recently, how I created two concepts that help us to have a better idea of what is considered as the social media giants at this moment, which is Periscope and Blab. The article was so interesting that I had to get the content out there, and I wanted everyone to know about the information. You back now, Michael?
Sorry, guys. You know what? I think it was our connection here. It kept freezing up on us, so I think I got it sorted. So, and I apologize, Antoine. I know you're just about to say something. We were left on edge because it froze up right at that moment.
No worries, no worries. But as I was just mentioning, on this platform, which I originally came through Twitter, I met Keith Keller through a friend, similar to how you found out about Periscope. I mean, similar to how you found out about Blab. I found out about Blab through a friend named Wendy Ford, and she introduced me to Keith's platform. And upon meeting Keith, I built a direct relationship with him, and we created content together. And now we are just basically having daily conversations and understanding about each other as a people. And as I was mentioning, like what I'm currently doing, I am a YouTuber. I'm currently creating content that's comparing Blab and Periscope. We're working on all these different platforms, but what I find the most beneficial is Twitter. It's maybe because I met a person like Keith who have a lot of knowledge about Twitter. So you learn different concepts, like he have Twitter tips for newbies. He have ways that you can gain followers by simply following up, and follow back. So that's Twitter magic 1, 2, 3. And as you continue to understand how you could take advantage of one specific platform, you could still have the other ones existing, but we have to put more energy into one specific platform so that people can always know where they could come and find some type of beneficial information or something that's up to date.
Yeah, that makes total sense. I think, a lot of what we look at is trying to create what's the main repository going to be for the content that you're creating, right? So whether you're creating it all and pouring that right into your website or putting it right into YouTube, but then putting it out, using tools like Sprout Social, Hootsuite, whatever your tool of choice is, to quickly disseminate all that across your networks. Then to pull them all back into whatever main vehicle you want. Otherwise, I find you end up with this really sort of scattered effect, right? Where everything's going up slowly, whereas you can have one really elevate above the rest. But when you look at, whenever we're assessing or working with a business to get into social media and to try to leverage that for their business, we need to go, well, what are you selling? If you're selling, pipe fitting and, it's fairly industrial and it's it's not a sexy product or anything else, well, you know what? Instagram probably is going to be for you. Facebook probably won't be for you. Twitter probably won't be for you, right? So it's trying to figure out where that audience is, where the potential untapped market is, and how they're going to communicate. So is it best done in 140 characters? Can they make their messaging so succinct that they can get that across through Twitter without having to then link that back to a larger post to explain what they're about? Or, we've been working with this little jewelry shop in one of the trendy areas, and she's got products that come in day after day. They're one-offs, right? They're very unique. She can't sort of mass market them because they're all so Instagram is perfect, where she can really focus on our geographic hashtags, gain a good following, and really present unique items that are very, it's a one-off. You got to come down to the shop and get it right away. So that was a great vehicle for her to do it. Twitter, she could leverage in the same sort of way. And we see a lot of interplay more between Twitter and Instagram than anything, especially the quick tools we can put in place there. So yeah, I think that, the answer for me is really just looking where your audience is going to be, seeing how you can then go to that area and draw them, to your sort of account and to engage with them that way. Well, looking at Pinterest, I mean, the demographic on Pinterest is completely different than our audience on Instagram, right? Our Pinterest audience tends to be 80+% women, and even of that audience tends to be an older demographic. Where Instagram tends to be younger and tends to be a little bit more balanced in terms of sexes as well. Pinterest is great because it does allow you to curate, of course, this whole library of your content, which can quickly be skimmed. And is more of a desktop experience, I'd say. I have the Pinterest app, but they're different, but the same in terms. Let me back up. So Pinterest, I think, is really good for sharing out shared content, finding gems, posting to your board, and then passing that on. Whereas something like Instagram is really, here's my content. This is what I have to share, and send that out to your audience and hashtag it accordingly. So maybe older female demographic, then maybe setting up some Pinterest boards makes sense, and maybe engage those and embed them inside your site to draw traffic that way. And you can try to keep them fresh, right? You could probably, I'm not sure if you can cross post from like Instagram into a Pinterest feed, but then there's that duplication of work. And, where is it best represented? I think if you've got those one-off pieces, like we were sort of promoting for a client, where it's a ring, it's a necklace, it goes out so quick through Instagram, and again, can just be focused under those hashtags you want, and gains a lot quicker likes and shares than I've ever seen on the Pinterest side of it.
Wow.
What a fascinating insight. Yeah. And Twitter and Instagram as a sort of companion piece?
Yeah, even this afternoon here. So we've set up a tool so that from our new Sociables HQ Instagram account, which I've only had running for like a week and a half here. When I send out through that account, if I hashtag it with social media tips, it pushes it to our Twitter account and shows the picture as it should be shown. Whereas if I hit the Twitter button when I'm inside Instagram, it sends the tweet out, but then wants the link back to Instagram for the picture. So we've set a system up so that by using, and you can customize whatever hashtag it is that you want to use, your Twitter account listens for that and then spits it out properly formatted so that somebody scrolling through the Twitter can see it a lot better.
Are you using if for that, or are you saying you've created this site yourself?
No, it is the if then. Yeah, you can do some really complex stuff there. It's sort of an untapped gem in terms of getting some of that interplay between your accounts that does extend it. Because to your point earlier, Keith, about that's great that Hootsuite and Sprout Social and all these can do all that, but they don't do it very well. It makes it easy, even their auto scheduling, which is supposed to listen to your audience and see when those trends are so that they release your content at peak periods. Well, it's tough to get that metric right when you're covering so many networks because people are on different platforms at different times as well, right? So
yeah,
I can't take all the credit for that because Crystal actually set that one up. And because what she saw was with a couple of the content pieces that I was sending out, because we've started to do our, right now we're running a series called 18 Social Media Tips, and we're only on number 3, on day 3 here. So when we were sending that content out, it wasn't really looking as nice as we wanted when it comes through the Twitter channel. It was fine on our Facebook channel, but not so much on the Twitter. So just making that one adjustment embedded the photo properly so that it didn't force our users to go back and have to go through that extra step. So,
wow, that's brilliant. And what's so amazing is like the information that simply sharing draws me closer to you. Like instantly, I'm thinking, once we get off, I'm gonna send you my email. I'm gonna learn how. Yeah, because it's not that you're trying to sell me something. It's like, and that's how important it is for us to have the opportunity to get content out. Because like, excuse me, since I've been in contact with Keith, I'm selling women jewelry, but I haven't offered him anything like try to offer this to your wife or whatever the case might be. Or I know you got a huge following. Could you sell these products for me? we're building a direct relationship, and it's actually helping me to understand more about Keith. And now I'm learning more about you, Michael. And I want to have a personal relationship, and I'm sure Keith is going to want to have a personal relationship.
Oh, absolutely.
This quick example, like this is the first thing we've done. We literally set our account up here like an hour and a half ago when I was talking to Crystal about this experience I had with Russell Brunson this afternoon, and here we are where. It's just so powerful being able to share this information between, colleagues in your industry where, we've got a small team, we've got some juniors working for us and okay. I've been in the sort of industry for like 20 years and we happen to work in a co-work space, which is filled with, 94 other people running different businesses. And we do a lot of sharing. And so we've really, over the years, gotten to embrace any opportunity to just learn about somebody else. Like you said, it's not about the sale. I mean, I've got nothing to do here. It's just, it's getting some insight, getting a new perspective, especially, Keith from a completely different continent to Antoine on, the other coast and with all the, just the populace you guys have around. You guys are exposed to so much more in terms of campaigns and experience and what's working locally and what's not working. So
exactly.
For a lot of people and us included, while we're great in person, meeting people and being able to socialize, being able to just turn on a channel sometimes it can be somehow more intimidating.
Yeah, I agree.
I'm just tweeting about how this is brand new and live. So 37,600 people just got the message that we're now live on Blab.
The most interesting thing that I've been on Twitter now for not for long. I mean, what I mean by recent is like I had this platform, but I didn't understand it. So even though I was an existing profile, my content wasn't getting out there. So what I learned simply by meeting one person, which is Keith, I learned how to share. First off, I don't go in just going to follow these specific like person just because they got 50,000 followers or this person because they are famous or this specific channel because they are CNN News. Now I go and I focus on a specific group. If I am an entrepreneur, I look for things that's focused on business, marketing, something that's going to be inspirational, motivation. So now that I categorize things, these people either follow me or they don't. As I continue to retweet their information, it's showing people who are already following me more beneficial information because more than likely we are all in that same group. And eventually they'll follow that person if they feel the information or the content is beneficial. So to sum it all, I was on the platform of Periscope and I'm also on the platform of Twitter. I recently created, and I'm the feature on a guest blog in which Keith featured me on.
Nice.
I created content where I actually compared Periscope and Blab. So when you get the chance, definitely read the article. I have an image of my first Blab, and it's actually live video. And I have a different image of Periscope, which we can connect through Catch, which is an app that's connected to Catch. Because on Periscope, you only can save your video for 24 hours. But we found an app called Catch, which allows you to keep your video as long as you would like.
Nice.
So with all this being said, when people come on to my guest blog, they learn the difference between Periscope and Blab. And they also get to see live images that shows here's Periscope, which is a one-to-one image in which Keith and I define. And then here's Blab with the Brady Bunch model, whereas you can have multiple users at one time. And those are the unique ideas Keith shared with me that I'm sharing with the world. Isn't that amazing? And it didn't cost anything. It was of kindness from his heart, and it was a kindness of my heart. And we learned how to show how we care about each other as human beings on Twitter. So on Facebook, I haven't ever experienced that. On Instagram, I haven't experienced that. You see yourself, because one thing that I want to say, the beauty of effective sharing, it makes you want to come back and do more with passion. It makes you feel like actually I did something, because as people, we want to feel like we are being seen and also we are being connected. That's why most people, they do anything just for attention, because they just want some type of attention. And Twitter is giving me the attention that I actually want, which is sharing important content, offering some type of information, and also motivating people, because that's what I want to do here in Chicago. Continue to show people how, although things can be difficult, we can create opportunities. Similar to how Crystal just said out in Canada right now, where you guys that people lost their job because of the war. We're here to show them that there is still hope. We may have to go about a different route, but there is a route. And if you don't have the route, continue to follow Keith and I, and we're going to guide you to that route. That's the whole point. And that's one thing Keith and I share. We love helping. Keith loves helping. He's a wonderful person. If I can refer you to anybody on Twitter, it won't be Grant Cardone. It won't be Tim Robbins, because I don't have a personal relationship with them. It will be Keith Keller. I'll say, look, this dude, sometimes in the middle of the day, he'll share some content and say, Antoine, this is going to be great because I think you're going to change people's lives. And he always motivate me. And that's what I want to do to you today, Michael. I want you to know, like, even if it's rough out there in Canada right now, just continue doing what you love. And I'm telling you, Keith, he want to help you to become a guest blogger. If I can recommend anything, go for it. People love to see new information. And what you just shared with me is new. Creating some nice content, and I can guarantee you're going to do it again.
I'm a goalie for one, for like 5 different hockey teams, because as a goalie, you can play everywhere. So my point being, I'm in a lot of rooms with these guys, and we're chatting before and after games. And a lot of these guys are the guys that have been losing their job in the oil patch or in the big office towers downtown as they downsize. We've lost upwards of 100,000 jobs in the province here alone, and that's probably underreported. So for a lot of these guys, they got packages when they left, right? So they're taken care of for 3, 4, 5, 6 months in terms of the severance they were given. Some of them were senior positions. So it afforded these guys the opportunity to go out and look at, what do I really want to do now? So let's get some more training. I know with one of the courses that Crystal was teaching in January, one of the guys was laid off from the oil patch and said, I need to make a switch here. I want to really embrace social media, see about, new marketing positions that might be open there. So that's a guy that's retraining himself with a whole new skill set to see how he can get back into the workforce and maybe be a little bit more agile. And then, as I alluded to earlier, we work in a co-work space. So, there's like 100 different people. We've got our great little office, everything else. So what we typically see is usually around January, February, there's a lot of new people that come in. They want an office, they want a desk. They're starting the year off fresh with the big idea. And then usually by the 3rd or 4th month, we see them disappear because they're they didn't know how tough it was to start a business, or they didn't know what to do, and they had to exit quickly. And I think we've seen a little bit more of that this year than any other year. The workspace filled up quite a bit with lots of different businesses. And now, as people, we're some of the longest tenants there. It'll be interesting to see how many people stick around and how many go back to the oil patch once things sort of, if the price oil, rebounds to like 50, 60 bucks here. So. Maybe they had 1 or 2 clients to start off, but you're constantly hustling out there, right? I mean, for us, we've got great clients. We've had clients on our list for 10 years that we continue to work with, but they're the slow drip clients where they're not paying a lot of the big bills. So each month it's the hustle for us to go out, find new work, go through the sales process. Today alone, we were in on 2 proposals. We were shortlisted on jobs, so we have to go in and spend that time, and that's not billable time. That's time coming out of what we could be doing in production time on other projects. So a lot of people don't understand that, right? And when you've been working for the man and in a cushy job where I don't feel like working today, you don't work. When you and I do that, it means I ain't going on that trip where I'm not eating at the end of the week, sort of thing. So.
Exactly. Yeah. And that's what's so important. It's like with a lot of entrepreneurs, similar to what you mentioned, probably in the States, it's similar like 4 months to a year. Usually the small business, they fail. And what I learned is because most recently I'm similar to some of the people that lost their job, but I chose to just quit. I just said, you know what? it's about time. I'm 30 years old. I need to just put this content out here and do something I actually like doing. And I'm saying all that to say, once we finally have the drive, we can't just go right out and just think like, I'm going to sell. Like when we just like that first 3 months, of course, we know we need to make some type of money, but we have to have some type of cushion so that we won't run off all the customers. Because if like before you came in, Keith and I, we were mentioning that there are some people that come into our platform of business and they might not like my jewelry, but they might want somebody to build their website. Now, although they don't want my jewelry, I just can't brush them off and say, oh, I don't want you to even talk to me anymore because you said you're going to buy it. Opposed to just brushing them off, I say, you know what? I know Michael. He's great with building websites. Or I know Keith. He's a wonderful person to help you get your article out if you're a writer or if you're an author. And that build an understanding for them to know, like, wow, this is not just about money with this person. And maybe they know someone who actually looking for a jewelry to go on prom. And now they refer them to me because they understand. And when we first start business, we don't understand that concept. As entrepreneurs, we just think it's all about the profit. Yeah. I mean, it's really not,
Do you guys, I don't know if any of you are fans of Malcolm Gladwell. You guys know Malcolm Gladwell at all?
No, I don't know.
He's a Canadian author, but he's actually huge in the U.S. And he's written a series of books that, as a small business guy, one, they're easy to read. And the guy's an amazing storyteller. I happened to catch him here in person a couple of years ago. But one of the biggest things I got out of a couple of his books was business and the type of people that you run into, right? A lot of times, you find these different personalities and it's a matter of linking them all up because it's this chain, right? So I know a couple of guys that I consider what Malcolm calls connectors, right? These are guys that do their own thing, but the biggest thing that they have is they know everybody. And if you're talking to them, they'll pass you on to somebody who can get you that next opportunity or open a door for you. And it's never something that they've got interest in making money off or anything else. That's their nature. They are literally just this connector in between. And then there's other people who are called mavens, and mavens are that guy that you've been connected to will blow your idea up. He'll be able to look at it in a way that you've never been able to look at it and put you on this path to go to the next level, right? So we work with a lot of different industries and client types and everything where we don't really focus on one area or anything.
Okay, I got you. Just help them with different marketing strategies so that they can get their content out there and build a platform so they can keep their office space, right?
Yeah, totally. I mean, it's from profit companies to nonprofits. We're there we love this stuff. We get this. Right. Crystal and I are immersed in this every day. This has been my dream job, since I graduated, to be able to do creative work, to explore new technologies and mediums, and to be able to put together creative content for customers that gets them a positive return. Right. So it's really looking at the situation and trying to find out, hey, how can we help you? What's going to work? What's going to get you to the next level?
Okay. So are you guys only working with people locally, or have you ever worked with anybody in the U.S. yet, or are you just strictly in Canada?
For the past little bit, because we did a rebranding a couple of years ago. But previous to that, I was doing some work with some companies out of the U.S. We work with some international companies. I had the benefit of being flown down to Singapore, and I got to go to Boracay all on our company's dime because we're doing TELUS International, which is an international telecommunications company. But more recently, we've been doing a lot of local work. We're always looking at new opportunities that way. So, yeah.
Well, keep it in mind. We'll be in touch.
So today I introduced very early in the call you to a process called curious.com. $89 a year to learn everything you need to learn from the comfort of your own home. You don't have to meet the person who created it. You probably don't even know. You don't even need to know. They're imparting a wisdom. You're in. So before we rush to Ross, what are your thoughts on online products? Can you see yourself creating some of those?
Yes, I actually think that's the model moving forward from 2016, the content people would like to see images of, they want to see it through their phone or through some type of platform on some type of device. Because now a device is almost like clothes. People cannot live without it.
Mm-hmm.
And when people see your products on a platform where they actually like, at one point, people like going to stores because they can walk into the store and physically have cash and pay for the product. But now everything is on a card. People don't really have cash. And people love buying things online because it's secure. They don't have to worry about leaving a house if it's 2 o'clock in the morning and they're doing shopping. They can purchase things at any given time. If they're on lunch break and they want to get a gift for their fiance, they could get it express delivered for one day.
Yeah.
I mean, you name it. If there's a place that they have to travel 45 minutes from and they only have a 30-minute lunch break, they have a chance to make a purchase and have it shipped to their location of choice. So I'm thinking there are still people that want to visit retail places, but at this moment, it's so convenient for people with so limited time. Even entrepreneurs, we're so busy, but we have a big chunk of time full of emptiness, but the time we're getting everything done is so limited. So to answer your question, I think social media platforms and online marketing is the way to go for 2016 and moving forward. What you think, Rose?
I think so. Basically, when I was trying to get connected, I was listening to what you guys were saying, and I gotta say, who was the guy who kept coming in and out? I forgot his name already.
Mike.
I like the thing where he has like the link or hashtag or whatever it was that it like worked with his Twitter, so he didn't have all these like problems. Because the thing I found with Twitter is, for me at least, is when I post something, it's there for like maybe 2 seconds and then it's gone. It feels like, for me at least, because everyone's like posting all at once, and I just don't know if people see my stuff or not.
Right. Yeah. I mean, it's definitely. I think Keith said people tweet like probably 5 million tweets every 3 seconds.
Yeah.
And I think it's really interesting because as we continue to understand how to utilize certain platforms, it's 9,000 tweets per second.
That's legit.
So that's a lot of tweets if you think about it. So, you know, just keeping up with the content of not just tweeting about yourself. One of the interesting tips that Keith shared with me is you want to tweet 10 to 1, meaning you can do a retweet or a repost 10 times, then post something of your own once. Every 10 times you tweet somebody else's information, and that gain you attention itself because this might have been shared by multiple users, and it also give you the feedback that you want, that somebody wants to actually see your physical image of what you got to offer, and also the content when they visit your page. So it's just another method of marketing, because the more you share, similar to what we're doing now, we're sharing, the more beneficial it is for others, because they don't see you as I just want to take it all. They see you as a giver also.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Okay. Well, what you think about that, Ross?
I definitely think that you raised a lot of good points there, and I just think, well, for one, I just like this platform a lot because it allows other people to share their opinions and examples, and it's not just one person.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Yeah, I definitely am. I'm actually everything it's a work in progress as we speak, because as I mentioned, people actually want to see the content on the device. They want to actually be able to go into it, because it seems like now with the electronic device, almost every household probably have over 3 devices in their household.
No, they would.
And that's at the minimum, the bare minimum. And if you think about the 3 devices, majority of the time, people actually have it in their hand, or they have to type, or they're using it some type of way. and they could find everything in something that they're mostly using or utilizing, they're going to find it so beneficial, because most of the time people usually go to stores is because they're riding past it and they're just out and about. But there are a lot of people now, they're not spending a lot of their free time out and about. They're spending their free time on social media platforms. And that's,
I know, I do that.
And that's the way to go. So I love the idea, and I'm actually, definitely.
You mentioned a very interesting idea. You know, you've got to buy a present for your wife or your girlfriend or your husband, and you think, you know, my lunch break is half an hour. It's going to take me 45 minutes to get there and back, and I really can't go after work, and on the weekends I'm taking kids to sport. Why don't I just have a quick look? Why don't I just have a quick look online and just see if I can buy a nice perfume bottle that comes delivered to my house in 3 days?
Yep.
And the value proposition is very easy to see, isn't it? I don't have to go there. I don't have to talk to anyone. I don't have to find a park. I just have to
wait in line.
I don't have to wait in line. It gets delivered to my house within 3 days.
Yes.
Everyone's happy, and usually it's cheaper.
Yeah,
that's not always the value proposition. It's usually the idea that the convenience factor is so good.
Right, it's convenient. Yes, I agree. This is the new model. This is and that's what we're gonna focus on our next blab. We're gonna focus on the model. Like we're gonna create a way to help people understand, like, if your model is not working, try something different. You know, or we're gonna come up with something that's gonna focus strictly on the model, because that's what it's about now. It's about not only creating content, but you have to have a specific model and approach about things. And I think as we continue to move forward, we're going to continue to get the content out there, but you definitely have to have some type of model to follow. And as you guys always know, you know, our blabs is only going to get better as it continue on. We had a great guest, Michael, today, and we loved his feedback. Roast, the boss, always tuning in. Ludwig 24 is how you can find him. And we got Keith Keller, you know, one of the gurus of Twitter. And I love the platform in which I'm on. And
this platform or the Twitter platform?
Yes, this definitely is the way to go. So we're gonna probably end the blab, and you know, Ross, I'm sorry you weren't able to be in as long as you like. I know it would give you a hard time.
It kept kicking me out, and then when I tried, it just kept loading and loading, and it wouldn't do anything.
It's like a TV show you were waiting all day for, right? And it finally come on.
I was kind of mad that it wasn't working, because it was a really good conversation.
Exactly. It was a TV show like you waited all day and you finally come on and you fell asleep or something. But we'll definitely have more to come. So I'm sorry about I will, you know, download it and create a replay and everything so that, you know, people will be able to see it. And we'll hopefully next week we don't have this same problem. So you can come in, we can do our intro, and we can keep it going. So thank you again, buddy, for tuning in, you know.
Yeah, no problem.
And I'll talk to you next week. Have a good one. All right, buddy?
Bye.
All right, take care.